Every week on OverwatchLeague.com, our buddy Reinforced reveals where the 20 Overwatch League teams stand in his power rankings. With the introduction of the new 222 Rollock, we figured it would be great to have him on to give us a little preview of what he's got in store for us this week. So, welcome to the show, the one and only Johnny, a.k.a. Reinforced. What's up, bro?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thunderous applause.
We got it.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive right in, man.
Well, I need to see the rankings first.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Do we want to see the rankings? We have half of the rankings.
We have?
Just for you guys.
Why just half of the rankings?
Well, because you have to read it on Wednesdays as well.
Doesn't wrote the rest
Oh,
of it.
Question marks. Question marks.
Oh, okay. Lots of question marks here.
What do we think of this?
Can you run me through some of the reasoning behind like why you've revealed these teams?
Because I think that I want to leave some spice in there, you know, like who's going to be top 3, of course. It's not going to be New York Excelsior, so who's going to take that spot, of course. Where does Seoul Dynasty place in this, London Spitfire? There's many openings here. There's a lot of good teams right now in the league, I feel like, with Rollock, but there's only so many spots in the top 10. 10 spots, actually.
That is 100% true.
So can you run me through why you have New York at the 8th place?
Yeah, that is the controversial pick, right? But I think we all agree that New York Excelsior have a lot of potential on their roster, going back all the way to last year, of course, but you can't really rank them based on their potential. At some point, it has to give, and they didn't perform well in the Stage 3 playoffs, and then they lost to the LA Gladiators this week, so I feel like you can't really rate them based on Jonak being the league MVP from last year anymore, and they haven't really figured out the meta, it feels like. They sub in Sabiolbi, and then sometimes it's Nene, and I feel like they just haven't really found their groove so far in the Rollock, so I want to see more from them before I rate them higher.
I think an interesting question about that as well, though, is transitive property, they would be worse than Houston right now, right? Because they lost Gladiators and Gladiators lost to Houston. It doesn't really work like that, right?
Yeah.
But
For Bren, it does.
How I do all my rankings and decision making.
But I think perhaps even like just judging from what we've seen so far, that might, like, number 8 might even feel a bit high for New York.
You think so?
No.
You can't. Well, I mean,
That depends on those question marks.
that's maths.
I come on this desk to be spicy, and you just end up way more spicy than me.
Well, I do agree. I do agree with your kind of lower placement of New York because it's like a week by week basis. Completely agree the fact that they shouldn't be at the top, shouldn't be considered near the top despite their standing. So, I mean, fair play. All right, you came for the spice, and we're all agreeing with you. So,
all right, well, let me tell you what I don't think is spicy. You got the Shock and the Titans at 1 and 2. Like, they're still up there, even though they've been pretty much challenged.
Now that
so far.
Here, what do they say?
Hear ye.
Hear ye. Don't take away my sponsorship. But that I will argue because I feel like the it's still so early to kind of, I guess, put them up there. You know, I don't think they've been tested as much compared to a lot of these other teams.
Yeah, but they've been so dominant all season, and so
So that's why you're putting them up there.
Part of it.
New York have been dominant this season.
Partly because they
also
have
lost.
such amazing talent. They are arguably the best coach in the league. They've been in the grand finals for 3 stages in a row. And I feel like with the potential on this roster, you can't really just rate them lower because you have question marks surrounding their tank line or them playing on control with Architect and Striker, etc. So I feel like you can't really undermine them and rank them lower until they've actually started to underperform in the league.
Why drop them down before they losing a match?
See,
Just
so
because
he
you're
gets me.
questioning
So he
their
gets me.
potential?
I just-
Like, thank you. Come on here.
I'm looking at it. I feel like we're so early on into this new meta. Everything's in flux right now, and there's definitely a possibility where Shock haven't been tested by some of the stronger teams that we might not look at, right?
Sure, it's true.
Yeah, but until they lose after being tested, you can't really dethrone them.
All right, so we're talking about teams not really getting tested. The biggest question mark for me, apart from all of the question marks that are literally in your power rankings, is the LA Valiant.
Yeah,
they played one game this week, Johnny, and they beat Paris 3-2. And yet they're at number 6, was it? Something like that?
And I'm just going to let your opinion hang for a bit there, because I feel like it's a very good point. So we'll give it some breathing room.
Wow,
Yeah, it's a very good point. Very good point, George. Very good point, George. We want to emphasize on that. But I do like to rate Valiant higher because I feel like the Paris Eternal in Stage 4 is a bit of a tougher test than they have been the rest of the season. Soon and Shadowburn came out in full force as a DPS duo, and they performed really well, in my opinion. This is a Paris Eternal that beat the Houston Outlaws on the first day this stage. So this is actually a Paris that, to me, seems like they're actually pretty good. They're not in my top 10, but I still feel like they're pretty good.
Spoiler.
And so I feel like the LA Valiant, beating them even in map 5, I feel like it's a bit of a true test for them, and I feel like it's justified looking at this roster. I mean, you have Kariv on Ana, Shax is a fantastic Sombra, Space is back in the lineup.
Yes,
we haven't mentioned that enough. Space is back in the lineup, one of the best off-tanks in the league. He was one of the best off-tanks in the league before, you know, he got filtered out because of the triple DPS compositions. But I feel like this is a team that is on the rise, and we always underestimate the LA Valiant. So I just said, I'm sorry, Valiant fans. Or actually, yeah, thank you, Valiant fans. I actually have to rate you higher. I actually have to rate you higher this time around because I always underrate you.
Also, on top of everything he just said, he really hoped that the LA crowd is going to stick around for his big reveal. So that was really unlucky.
I mean, even with Shax not really turning up as well, I mean, that to me is just a big thing. What do you think about the weird little fiesta we've had with a bunch of the Chinese teams? Like Guangzhou played Philly, and then Chengdu played Philly, and they all were kind of around the same point, but none of them have really interacted with the rest of the league. It's like a weird little circle of mess.
I mean, I'm just trying to do simple math in my head right now, and it just feels like you're saying Philadelphia is bad.
Yes, I do actually think that Philadelphia isn't that great. And
well, there's two of us.
To be, yeah.
Oh, right.
But I do think that I do think that Guangzhou are though. I do think that Guangzhou could genuinely be a good team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think I would have them in my top 10.
I've been hearing people saying that they think that they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs.
There's potential for it there. Yeah. Rio's been impressing. I think they've got fantastic. Happy. We're leaning more into more Widowmaker play. Like, we're all in agreement today.
All right, could you give us a quick spoiler?
It's a good day to be on the desk.
Are the Charge in your top 10? Or do
the Charge are in my top 10.
All right.
Oh, it's like
all right. Small little spoiler there.
Dating show or something.
Well, Reinforce. Thank you so much for previewing your power rankings here. We got a little bit of a spoiler there, a little bit of a preview. And guys, if you want to check out his full list, make sure to head on over to overwatchleague.com every Wednesday to see where the 20 teams land.
Before I leave the desk, can I just give a shout out to Maverick for returning once more? Bit of an inside joke, but I wanted to give him a shout out. So thank you very much. Go on, Malik.
Thank you.
And the show. Thank you.
Who's the Maverick?
All right.
We have so many questions.
I want to be in on this inside joke after we go off air. Let me know what's going on.